Hey,
How has been your week?
week's been amazing. Still living the dream. And right now, man, some beautiful weather out here in Hawaii. So, did a little
Awesome.
bit of surfing and just got done with CrossFit. So, my name is Kyle Aquino, and I live out here in Honolulu, Hawaii. And I've been here for the last 10 years. Originally born in the Philippines and lived all over the world. I lived in Hawaii, California, Japan, Italy. My background, I was in the Navy before as an officer, and about 3 years ago, I started to go into a business with a former coworker of mine. And my coworker, he was the one who actually shared with me what he was doing. What he didn't know was that I was very open-minded at the time. I was looking for more financial and time freedom in my life, and still about living paycheck to paycheck since Hawaii is not a very cheap place to live at. My coworker was the one who actually used to work for me and pretty much fired me as his boss to his full time. And uh, that business happens to be in the realm of travel, and I got pretty intrigued by that because I love to travel. And if I were to show people how you could do that cheaper and do it more often, I thought that was pretty cool.
So let's talk about your business. So it's BOSSLyfe, right?
Yes, that's the name of my team. I'm actually an independent business representative of World Ventures.
Okay, if you don't know WorldVentures, the video can be unclear. Thus, let me explain. Kelly is an independent representative of WorldVentures. WorldVentures is the largest travel club in the world. It sells discount travel and holiday-related products to its members. As a representative of WorldVentures, Kelly pays a fee to WorldVentures to sell his products called DreamTrips. It is, in simpler words, a marketing channel between people and WorldVentures. The buyers of DreamTrips become members of WorldVentures. Thus, by increasing WorldVentures' customer base, he earns commissions and further discounts on travels and vacations. BOSSLyfe is Kelly's team. BOSSLyfe members are all representatives of WorldVentures. Within BOSSLyfe, Kelly leads these representatives toward the same goal of promoting DreamTrips in order to travel for cheap and earn commissions. Thus, members of BOSSLyfe are all people who travel to represent WorldVentures. Today, WorldVentures count more than 2 million members.
But yes, the name of our team is called BOSSLyfe, and it's an acronym to build our success stories, which is pretty much who we are. Not to be a boss of other people, but to be a boss of your own situation.
Mm-hmm. So when did you start BOSSLyfe?
We all started about 3 years ago, right around the time that I got started. And really, it's just not only a team, but just one big movement altogether. Movement of people who just want to create more results in their life. People who just don't want to accept what is and are willing to work themselves to a better place in their lives. And people who want to help other people achieve that kind of success as well. This business actually separates the curious from the serious, right? There's a lot of people who, and you probably met a lot of people in life who want a whole lot of things, but their actions don't necessarily correlate to what it is that they really want to get, right? Like say I want to be an A student, but I never go to school, or I never study, or I never do the actual homework.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to be an A student, right? And the same thing goes into not only in business, but just having the desired results that you always wanted in life in general. And because I have such a large organization, I'd definitely be working with the people who deserve my help. What I mean by deserve the help is if you're a person who is doing everything in your power to learn and to show up and to do the things necessary in order for you to win, then that's what I call deserving, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily related to the results. It's related to the amount of effort one wishes to contribute towards creating that kind of lifestyle for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So how many were you when you started BOSSLyfe?
We always start with one. Starts with you. Then today we have about a few thousand in BOSSLyfe in general.
How do you talk about BOSSLyfe to people?
Yeah, so we are very deliberate with who we share the business with. It's not like random and hopefully people hit me up or ping me. It's very targeted, where we generally share with people who know us, like us, and trust us the most.
Okay.
Because the most powerful way we share information is word of mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go to our favorite restaurants because our friends told it was good. We avoid certain places because our friends told it was dirty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do things socially, and when we tell our friends, hey, this is something pretty cool, you as a friend are more likely going to listen to that person and actually follow through. And that's why it's been successful to share with our family and our friends and their family and friends and so on and so forth.
Within BOSSLyfe, where have you already been so far? I mean, by your travels.
I've been on over 45 vacations in the past 3 years of being involved.
Wow.
Before this, I only managed maybe 1 or 2 trips a year. Some of them being like Iraq, Afghanistan, and that's not a cool place to be at, but in that kind of way. But some of the places I've been on, like say recently, some of my recent travels was from here in Hawaii to LA, and then from there to Copenhagen in Denmark, then from there to London, Barcelona, Ibiza, and then I jumped over to Athens. I did a 1-week yacht cruise with a bunch of friends and random Greek islands I can't pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the way back home, I went to Singapore, Manila, Seoul on the way back. And some of the other places that were pretty cool that I checked off my bucket list were like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines, Costa Rica, Brazil, Egypt. Even though I went to a lot of countries, I've only covered about 30% of the globe so far. So still got 70% more to go.
Oh, great. So your bucket list is still full of plenty of ideas.
Always. And even more to the bucket list is not only the sites, but the events that happen during a particular time of year in that area. Like if you're going to go out to Rio de Janeiro for Carnival, that'll be a great experience. Or go to a FIFA World Cup or something where it's going to be held around the world.
Kylie shared with me his business plan for Easy Park and brought it into life. I found Kylie very extremely focused, highly coachable, and responsive to new approaches. It's a joy engaging with entrepreneurs like Kylie who really believe what they are doing will make meaning. He's unstoppable. So it has been written by Russell Chang, and it's about the Chidler business plan competition in spring 2014. So can you talk about it a little bit?
Yes, Easy Park was a project that I did when I was back in grad school for business about 2 years ago. And Easy Park is pretty much like the Airbnb, but for parking spaces. You know, being on an island in Hawaii, parking is an issue, just like in any urban area. You go to a place like New York City, parking for like an hour would be like $25 an hour, which is ridiculous. And so I know that's a big problem, and I wanted to create an ecosystem where I'm connecting people who had unused parking spaces with people who are looking for parking spaces. And a problem that we had in Hawaii too was that places like Hawaii or other places around the world, there are places where you still have to pay cash. This is highly inefficient, and it adds to the frustration of parking. So we created that, and that was my first experience with a startup company. It did cost a lot to get started. Got to find the right partners, and we took a lot of time writing that business plan, and it was pretty tough because I was working and going to grad school at the same time. But I definitely learned a lot of things from that. And something for me, I realized that I didn't really want to be in the startup world in that fashion. I did like the title of CEO at the time, but my goal at the time was to leave the corporate life, to leave the military life, and I almost found myself in the same situation in the startup world, and didn't really see a light at the end of the tunnel.
And so Russell Chang was your mentor, right? Yes,
he was a mentor. He is one of the biggest tech mentors in Hawaii. Yeah, he has his own tech company over here, where he actually grows developers here on island, so that they could be employed immediately upon graduation. And he's been a great mentor to me, and still is a very, very great friend.
And so, what do you think is the big difference between your first experience of entrepreneurship with Easy Park and your current entrepreneurship life?
Yeah, so with this, it just brings me back to the cash flow quadrant, something that was taught by Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about the 4 different ways in which one makes them money. Mm-hmm. You got the employees and self-employed on one side, and then on the other side, you got the big business owners and the investors. Now, what's different about employees and self-employed is that you're exchanging hours of life for dollars. So if you're not there, you're not getting paid. Or if you're not doing the thing, you're not getting paid either. So something when you realize you're one major accident from having no income on that could be a problem, mm-hmm. right? And when you thought everything was great as self-employed, which is like that Easy Park project was, now that I owned the job, I was working more to produce that kind of income later down the line. And we still had to limit our income so that our business could grow. Whereas on the other side of things, you're a big business owner and investor, and that's where 2% of the world's population is, where 98% of the world's wealth is. And my business right off the bat is a B-level business already, where we get to use what we call leverage. Mm-hmm. You're breaking the relationship between time and money, where at some point I don't have to necessarily be there to be significant to my income. And it reminds me of what the first self-made billionaire in America once said, I would rather use 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts.
Yeah.
And that's why our boss is over there at the beach or at the golf course, while we, the employees, are just in our jobs, right?
Yeah, so what's your family opinion about you being an entrepreneur, traveling, being the boss of your own life? It should be very proud of you.
Yeah, they're definitely very proud of me. They were concerned at first because I'm taking a different route, mm-hmm. that's very non-traditional. That could be a little scary for them because they're thinking about my job security and whatnot. And me being in the military has a lot of benefits in addition to the income, like health benefits and mm-hmm. Pension and whatever. And for me to break away from all that really concerned them. And all they really cared about was, can I financially keep myself afloat without needing their help? And if I could cover that, they're okay with it. So,
okay, great.
But my family is also business partners of mine too, and it's pretty cool now we're able to travel the world together, create abundance together, and it really created more of an excuse to see each other more often, to do things together more often. And so that's a positive byproduct of being part of this kind of business.
Okay. And so, any plans for the future, or do you think you have reached your level of happiness, meaning you're going to be in BOSSLyfe all your life, or any other plan for future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think one is I'm always grateful where I am. I'm happy where I am right now, but I'm not necessarily always content. So, not meaning that. What happiness for me is that I'm always constantly moving forward. I'm growing. I accept that. I understand where I am right now. I'm very grateful for where I am right now, and I'm just very excited about the things moving forward. I'm not yet still at the level of the business where I still want to be at. There's definitely way more levels beyond my current level, which is great. And that's what's exciting, because when you thought you reached the finish line, you realize, wow, there's more.
Yeah,
and it's exciting, and I can do it.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
And becoming a more powerful investor as well, because now you have the cash flow coming in. Now we can do with that moving forward, whether it's real estate or investing in startup companies. And you could be generally like what most billionaires typically do, right? Mm-hmm. They become the thumbs up, thumbs down guy.
Yeah.
Making those kind of decisions while you're still out, having fun with your family, doing things you always want to do, and living life all out.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for the students as me who maybe are frightened by entrepreneurship and by being confident in our project and stuff?
Yeah, it's really just make it right now. Now is definitely the best time. Now is an acronym for no opportunity wasted. So now is always the greatest time. It doesn't matter if you're young. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're too old. You could never be too young or too old for this lifestyle. It's all about the desire that's deep within here. And of course, everybody has a different life story, how they arrive at the place where they decide to attempt at entrepreneurship. But definitely give it a go, especially if you feel deep inside yourself that there's something missing, or I don't know if I could just take orders my entire life, or I don't think my life had to be so linear, or I think I could do so much more, or I think I could contribute back to the world so much more. If you got that gut feeling deep within inside yourself, then I think it's your inside voice or the universe or some higher being telling you that, hey, that you have much more to contribute to the world. Definitely, if entrepreneurship happens to be in your gut feeling, go out and get it done. Go out and explore that possibility for yourself.
Anything else to share?
And when you do something, just make a real decision about it. To decide is just like the "ide" in it, the IDE, and attached to any English word. It just means to cut off. And what to decide means is that you make a real decision. You cut off all the excess stuff. You don't think about plan B, C, D, E, F. You just go for it.
Yeah, sure.
And I come from a military background. It's like, what do you do when you see a target? You throw everything at it. From a military background, I'll be like, I'll send the planes, the ships, the rockets, all the missiles, the SEALs, whatever. And think about that with your own goals and your own dreams or your own business. You're gonna do it. You're gonna put every resource after it and go for it.
Okay.
Give yourself permission.
Thank you very much for this interview.
Definitely. Let me know if you need any more assistance.
Okay. Thank you very much. And what time is it in Hawaii?
It's like 3:37 right now.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's like about 7 hours ahead of you.
Oh, yeah, because here it's like 9:37. So
yeah, there
have
you
a
go.
good afternoon and evening and stuff.
Yeah, you too. Have a good morning, all right?
Thank you. Bye.
All right.